Good morning, BSN. Today, I would like to take you on a journey into our world of business contacts, professional interactions, management models, and mutual loyalty. In our daily work, we consciously or unconsciously deal with these topics, which determine our business success, our job satisfaction, our relationships with other people, and the relationships between people themselves. Page 2, please. Larry, page 2, please. Thanks. BSN teaches students 4 types of leadership. First, there's responsible leadership, striving to become a better person, behave responsibly towards your colleagues, and make your companies and organizations thrive by developing sustainable business opportunities to solve local, regional, and global short-term and long-term challenges in today's world. The second thing we teach is change leadership. Inspiring your colleagues to be creative and embrace change while giving your organization the power to change and innovate. And then there's performance leadership. Become a creator of resilient organizations with effective operations, sustainable financial results, and a good reputation. And last but not least, decision-making leadership, where we teach people to become situationally aware, in tune with the signs of the times, familiar with the latest science and technology trends, equipped with robust analytics of the right data, and able to make well-informed decisions. All these forms of leadership are covered in this presentation, and I will discuss them and illustrate them with examples where possible. Management models are used to give each of these leadership styles an organizational structure, but they are certainly not the main objective in themselves. Many managers make the mistake of thinking that once all the models and spreadsheets have been filled in and everything has been nicely described and illustrated in pictures, graphs, or tables in the presentation, success will come automatically. But nothing could be further from the truth. Because once the strategy has been defined and the right model selected, and the necessary resources have been chosen, that's when it really starts. Page 3, please. That's the moment when you have to take on the role of a leader and, on an interpersonal level, ensure that you get your people or groups enthusiastic about your plan. Good preparation is essential for this. An implementation process or an organizational change or project often looks like the little drawing on the right in the presentation. 3 months of meetings and discussions by the board and management team, and then the plan is presented to the departmental management in a 3-day briefing, and then after that the managers discuss the plan and how it should be implemented in a 3-minute operational meeting. The way in which this can be achieved is described in books such as 111 Management Models. But, well, it's not the way we like things to be done in real time. Much more interesting is the way in which you enthuse people and get them on board with this process. Page 4, please. People feel proud and develop self-worth when they experience respect, and people who do not experience respect become demotivated. That is the start of dehumanization. And we all know what misery that has caused in the past and what effect it can have in the long term. Make people visible and part of the big plan and give them freedom. This freedom can be experienced in 2 ways. The first way is negative or reactive freedom. This is the freedom that everyone experiences in the sense of these are the rules within which I am free to do my own thing. These freedoms have the effect that people don't think any further than and adopt an attitude of I know my scope, rights, and obligations, so leave me alone, please. So it's only the lower levels on Maslow's pyramid as shown in the presentation. The second form of freedom is positive or proactive freedom. This concerns the possibilities and skills of the individual, wherever they have the opportunity or not. But the individual faces a few restrictions, and is therefore all the more dependent on his or her initiative and judgment. The focus here is primarily on equality and the social whole. In other words, the person in question has an intrinsic tendency to use his or her personal abilities for the greater good in order to improve or serve the world around them. Page 5, please. In order to achieve support, loyalty, and an optimal implementation of a plan, it's important to engage in dialogue with those involved on the basis of respect, equality, and trust. As a leader, you need to be critical of your own thinking, so don't believe everything you think. Engage in an open dialogue with your people. Do not hide doubts. Doubt is a virtue. This shows that you're open to multiple perspectives, and you're not a know-it-all. Someone who has an answer for everything is not credible. Be open to others. That is not a sign of weakness, but rather an opportunity to learn together. Action learning offers very useful solutions for this. By jointly focusing energy on a problem, situation, or thought, new insights arise that can give everyone involved a new perspective. So stick to the objective of using your thinking and energy to empower others so that they can learn and grow, and you can learn from this development. Then you lead by example. We are reasonably successful in our professional careers, and I dare say that we all have all we got to where we are today because other people have helped us. As a leader, you have a duty to help others wherever you can. Your ability gives rise to a moral obligation. Your team doesn't work for you, you work for the team. So serve to lead. Imagine this. If you see someone drowning and you can't swim, you jump into the water and save them. If you can't swim, you seek help from bystanders or at least contact the emergency services because you act according to your abilities. When people experience this basic attitude in their communication with you, it creates mutual respect, equality, and trust, and thus a basis for closer cooperation. No one is too small to be someone to someone else. So start from the idea, what can I do? And please, no excuses because you are tired or you don't feel like it or you have something else to do. Leadership can take place at any level in an organization or collaboration. Even if it's just talking to people and coaching them on their behavior and making them aware of its effect. Page 6, please. For example, being good at your job does not necessarily mean that you're a good leader. The reasons why people are giving managerial roles are almost always because they have been working there for a long time or they are indispensable to the operation. Senior managers are very satisfied with their work, for example. And that's often where the problem lies. We promote people who are good at their job to manager. A good salesperson becomes a sales manager. A strong project leader becomes an operational manager. But being good at your job does not mean that you're a good leader, because what made you so successful in the past, for example, achieving results yourself, no longer works as a leader. It's not scalable. As a leader, your focus shifts from achieving results yourself to making others successful, from executor to leader. This newly appointed manager is often in a situation where he or she is very busy achieving results and is unaware of the effect this has on the world around them. You can't really blame the person for this because one does not know what one doesn't know. You can only help these people by addressing them in a constructive manner by using nonviolent communication. To help people understand their actions, you can make your point clear in 3 steps and ask for improvement. The first step, for example, is to state your observations based on facts. You indicate what you observe and substantiate this with a recent example. In the second step, you indicate the effect this behavior and how it affects you or the organization. And in the third step, you indicate what you believe is necessary to bring about change and what positive effects this will have. The fourth and final step, you ask the person concerned whether they are willing to do or stop doing the following things. And finally, always ask whether this has helped them and try to have a follow-up conversation at a later date. Okay, so much for leading or coaching individuals. The next question we are going to discuss is how do you go about motivating a large group of people who may or may not already form a team and getting them to commit themselves intrinsically to a change or a good cause. Page number 7, please. In October 2024, a number of students, including myself, had the opportunity to give some lectures on behalf of BSN South Africa at the Whitecrust Municipality Conference in Langebaan. Just a small note at the side. Good morning to you all in South Africa, and really looking forward to meeting you all again in November this year. My lecture was entitled, How Do You Organize a Swarm? This theory is based on the mechanism by which a swarm or a flock operates. Three things are important for moving in a swarm. The first thing is keeping sufficient distance. The second is ensuring that participants do not collide. And the third important thing is maintaining speed. A swarm is a large whole, but as you zoom in, you see small partnerships that give the whole its strength. This leadership approach also zooms in from large to small and ensures involvement, support, and ownership. All cooperation partners are brought together to turn the joint problem into the joint issue and thus create synergy. Based on this shared issue, a framework will be established in which the parameters within which solutions must be sought will be laid down. The route to finding solutions is then mapped out with a result in mind. These outcomes are defined from a holographic perspective and cover. They contain, first of all, future perspective, because all decisions are made with long-term results as a guideline, and they contain agreed actions. In order to arrive at more detailed solutions, it's important that the various solutions, issues, or agreed actions are discussed in smaller groups. This is so important because these are specialists who discuss very specific predefined topics so that specific, substantiated, and supported solutions can be defined. This allows the parties involved in the decision-making process and who have taken responsibility for it to get to work. In the previous phases, if the previous phases have been carried out optimally, much of the implementation will happen automatically and no additional guidance will be required. This method requires a facilitative style of leadership. But if people feel involved, are open to multiple perspectives, and can ask the right questions instead of pretending to know all the answers, this is a way to tackle complex problems easily. This system is based on action learning in practice. So the next time you see a flock of birds, think of how a complex problem is being tackled from rough to fine, give each other enough space, make sure parties don't collide, and keep up the pace. Page 8, please. In conclusion, I would like to refer to the impressive lecture given by Professor Paul Turken during the BSN Graduation Day 2025 in Amsterdam on September 30th last year. I was very fortunate to have Paul Turken as my internal supervisor during my dissertation in 2021, and I learned a lot from him, and I greatly appreciate his intellect and world vision. During the BSN Graduation Day, he cautioned all graduates that managers, even the very good ones, are ultimately forgotten. They are praised for the correct way in which they apply management tools and models and the way in which they are profitable for the company. However, they are only as good as their last success. He emphasized that good leaders continue to exert influence long after they have left the company. That's what good leaders do. That is why we can remember good leaders of the past and still refer to them and learn from them today. At BSN, we train people to become good leaders and hope that they can make a difference. So here's my advice. Don't act interesting, be interested. Your title may make you a manager, but your people make you a leader. So don't confuse the two. Thank you very much for your attention. This is where my presentation will end.
Thank you, Johan. Thank you, Johan, for that wonderful presentation.
I have just 5 minutes.
Yes, just going straight, Kingsley. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Pot. I mean, that was profound. So quickly, my reflection on the 8 slides as presented by Mr. Pot. Yeah, obviously, being a good manager does not make you a good leader. I mean, that is very profound. Yeah.
You can put on your video, sir, Mr. Kingsley.
Okay, you want to see my face?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah. So, being a good manager does not make you a good leader, because the truth is there are so many qualities that is required of you as a leader, beyond being a manager. I mean, as a leader, you operate with a very significant level of emotional intelligence. And leadership, like I said, leadership relies on emotional intelligence, because you serve to lead, and you lead by example. Leadership is the spirit that drives an organization, while management is the structure on which the implementation of leadership ideas are built. So, I mean, one is structural, while the other one is the soul of the organization. And as a leader, your focus shifts. I mean, Mr. Pot said this in the course of his presentation, from achieving results for yourself to making others successful. A leader is known by the number of people that he or she has made. Leadership is an investment in people, and that is a significant difference between leadership and management. I also feel that leadership is about we and not I. As a leader, like I said, you lead by example, you serve to lead, and the moment you are a leader, the success is not just about you anymore. It's about the team, the community that you lead. So a leader does not use the word I. It becomes a we, because it is about the team, making people successful, creating leaders amongst your team members. That is very profound as a leader. And lastly, I want to say that leaders remain relevant. And that is why we, in the course of our studies, as MBA students, as DBA students, we keep on studying literatures and examples from notable leaders in the different industries that we belong to. So leaders remain relevant, while managers are easily forgotten as soon as their last success or results are surpassed. So my encouragement to everybody on this webinar this morning is that regardless of the office that you hold, it is important that we must ensure that even as managers, we must develop leadership skills and leadership qualities, I mean, to do better, basically, to do better, because you do more and you impact more as a leader than just being a manager. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Eremionkhale. I'm sorry, I hope I'm not murdering your name. Please bear with me.
You are pardoned for today.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, so this has been a very wonderful, very wonderful presentation. And if you have questions, please let's have your questions in the Q&A. Please kindly drop them in the Q&A session. One of the things that Johan said, which was very, very profound, it says that your title make you a manager, but it's your people that will make you a leader. Very, very profound. Very, very profound. So if you have questions, please let's have your questions in the Q&A section of the Zoom, right? Someone said leadership. I'm trying to read the comments here. Just a minute. So leadership is an investment. Yes, leadership is an investment. It's an investment in people. That's Abiola Paul Ozie. Leadership is an investment in people. Oh, I think we have a question in the Q&A. Abiola Paul Ozie is asking, what critical skills will be required for a manager to transition from being a manager to a leader? Johan, you can go ahead and help us with that. And Kingsley can also help us put his own word to it.
Well, that's what's necessary from becoming from manager to a good leader. I think it's stop doing everything yourself. Find the right people around you and have trust in them, and provide them with knowledge, with your listening, with your presence, with everything they need, and let them experience becoming successful themselves, and just facilitate that. I think that's the shift that a good leader should make, or that a manager should make to become a good leader. Stop doing everything yourself and let people grow.
All right, thank you. Okay, go ahead, sir.
So you need to shift focus from yourself if you really want to transit from being a manager to a leader. When I say shift focus from yourself, I mean ensure that your followers, your team members are also visible. Invest in them. Let them be better than you. Encourage them. You must also ensure that you are part of their achievements. Give them the room to achieve. Give them the room to fly, to sail. I mean, they will trust you more, and they will appreciate you for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We have another question from Thompson Ogunsomi. Says, excellent presentation. How can a manager without leadership orientation begin to create a more inclusive leadership style and foster a culture where everyone's voice is heard and valued? I think that's similar to the first question. I think that's go ahead.
I can say something about that. The greatest achievement of a manager is to become obsolete, so that your organization can manage itself. It will never happen because you will always need a manager, and especially you will always need a leader. But when you focus to that result, you focus on that result, you try to achieve becoming obsolete yourself. I think that's the first shift a manager should make to become eventually a good leader. And that's how it all begins, to create a more inclusive leadership style, because that's when you start giving another type of attention to the people around you.
All right, thank you. The next question from Peter Kuti, it says, everything rises and falls on leadership. Yes, but must we blame a leader for every fault? Though they would also take credit for every success. I don't know if that's the question or a complaint. I don't know if you have anything to say about that.
Well, I do have a comment on that, and I'm just looking. I found something in preparation of this presentation which really stood out for me. I can't find it, but as a leader, you take the blame, and even it's about your team or your organization that doesn't function right. If you're not the one who can take the blame, you especially cannot take the credit when things are going well. So the credit is for everyone and the blame is for you. That's what leadership is about. You have to be there for your organization. You have to stand for what you do, and you have to stand for your people. And that also means that sometimes you have to accept the blame, even if you're not personally involved. You're the leader, so yeah, it comes with the job, with a calling, I think.
All right. Mr. Eremionkhale, I want you to answer the next question. Is it good? Sorry, this from Ngoen. Sorry, apologies if I murdered that name. It says, is it not possible for someone to be a good manager and good leader at the same time? I think this person is trying to differentiate between a manager and a good manager and good leadership. So he's saying, is it possible for somebody to be a good manager and also be good at leadership at the same time?
Yes, of course it is.
Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Mr.
Okay, yes, of course it's possible. You need the best of both worlds, of course. You also have to manage your organization, and you have to, organize that you become successful and that you are profitable, and whatever it takes to become or keep the success in your organization. That also requires management skills, of course. But if you are only restricted by management skills, and you think that you can let people thrive and become and make them grow in everything they do, because you fill in the right forms and Excel sheets and keynote presentations, that's the wrong attitude. That's what I was trying to say. But what about you?
At the end of the day, what makes a difference between two managers is the leadership skills in them. I mean, you've had situations where in an organization, possibly the role of the CEO or an executive role is vacant, and you have people at the same managerial level, possibly being interviewed, and one of them is picked, to occupy the executive role. What that panel has taken time to look at is the leadership skill in both of them. So you can be a good manager at the same time be a good leader if you have the required leadership skill in you. And leadership skill can be developed, can be learned. And that is why I will always say to people that you cannot be the best that you want to be without a mentor. You need to be able to identify a mentor in the industry that you operate, someone who has done very well as a leader, and then, you possibly approach them and let them give you an opportunity of mentorship. You can learn it.
Okay.
At the end of the day, and that makes a lot of difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kingsley. We have quite a lot of questions, but I would ask one more question. I'll ask the last question. We'll close for the day, and for those who their questions are yet to be answered, they can wait till after we close, so that at least we can have our speakers answer those questions. All right, so the last question for now.
That's the last question.
LB, you said something, so I didn't hear what you said.
No problem. I'm
okay.
rushing.
Okay, sir. All right. The last question will be from Lehandre Visa. It says, is it true that true leadership doesn't need a title? What I mean is it something you don't necessarily need a title for? You can start today in the position you are in. Let me read that again. Is it true that true leadership doesn't need a title? What I mean is it something you don't necessarily need a title for? You can start today in the position you are in.
I think I understand the question. You don't need a title to become a leader. Leadership is on every level in an organization. It's not about the things. It's not about your job. It's about how you do it, how you inspire other people, how you help them in their own learning process, and how to make other people better and facilitate them in everything they do. That's leadership. And when you execute that on any level in an organization, it will be recognized, and you will get the opportunity to grow within your position and make it more well, and make it even a learning journey for yourself. So no, the answer is you don't need a title to become a leader. It's just a way of thinking and a way. It's a mindset. It's a way of helping other people and make them thrive.
All right. Thank you very much for that answer. And with that, we'll come to the end of today's webinar. Next week, we shall be discussing reimagining the employee value proposition. How competitive is your health and benefit strategy? And we'll have Mr. Tony Dende, the CEO of June Advisory & Co., help us with that. And the reflector is Abiola Oshuniyi, who is the head Project Management Unit, Nigerian Center for Disease and Control. However, before we wrap up, I want to say thank you to everyone for making today an excellent session. Thank you for your presentation, Johan, and thank you, Mr. Kingsley, for today's wonderful reflection. Thank you, our lovely audience, for your participation and the questions. Team BSN and our corporate partners, the Culture Factor Group and Change Global, want to say thank you. See you all next week.